Your Excellency, the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President of the Senate, distinguished Senator Hossein Fabio, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Abbas Bajuddin, PhD, CFR. Excellency, my dear brother governors, our great leaders, the Royal Highnesses, for want of time, as advised by the anchor of this program, let me align myself with the protocol placed already established. Your Excellency, Mr. President, distinguished guests, esteemed members of our great party, I warmly, with due humility, welcome all of us to this special occasion, the public presentation of my latest book, A Decade of Impactful Progressive Governance in Nigeria. Looking across this hall and seeing leaders of our great party, scholars, traditional rulers, the clergy, and friends gathered under one roof, I am reminded again that Nigeria's story is never written by one person. It is written together, and that is exactly why we are here today. This book is the product of months of deep reflection, careful research, and honest writing. It offers an account of the APC's journey in government from the year 2015 to the year 2025. The milestones, the challenges, and the lessons. More than a record of events, it is a reference point for where we have been and a guide for where we must go. For me, the moment feels like the start of something meaningful. After all the hours and intense work, this book is now no longer mine alone. Belongs to the APC family, and indeed the Nigerian people. I was partly inspired to write this book out of curiosity. I know that the All Progressive Congress entered government in 2015 with enormous expectations on its shoulders. We inherited a fragile economy, deep security challenges, and a weary citizenry. Over the decades, we faced storms. Some of them were global, some were homegrown. Yet, at every turn, Nigerians looked up to us for answers. So my curiosity was to find out if we provided the answers after 10 years. This is my fourth book, and certainly the most demanding. I approached it not necessarily as a political figure, but as a citizen with a responsibility to document this pivotal decade our national history. I felt determined to tell the story as it is. No sugarcoat. I must first acknowledge our leader, the President and the Father of the nation, His Excellency, President Uzodinma whose pragmatic ideas and decisive leadership inspired many of the chapters you will find in this book. When I first mentioned the idea of this book, the response I got was unanimous. Yes, it's time. And I agree. Not only do we need to document what we have done, but many, even within our party, don't realize the full extent of what we have achieved. As I look into the data and stories, what I discovered we have achieved surprised even me. There's a depth of seriousness and serious efforts of government that don't always get recognition it deserves, either because of poor propaganda machinery or because the party is so serious focused on achieving results. Because from the moment APC made history in 2015, by defeating an incumbent party, it was clear we had become more than just a political party, but we have become a movement. A courageous response to the enemies of Nigeria for real change. And what APC came with and came for was change. That momentum has carried us through 3 national elections, each one reaffirmed the trust placed in us by the people. As I began digging into the material, I was struck by the scale of what had been done, much of it unnoticed, many of them quickly forgotten. Are we talking of the roads? Are we talking of the bridges? Are we talking of the railway projects? What of agriculture? The digital economy? The healthcare reforms? The fight against insecurity? And the more physical policies? They may not all have been perfect, but the truth remains that they shifted Nigeria in the right direction that nobody could ignore. Documenting these developments reminded me that the work of governance is often tactless in a moment, but its impact unfolds over time. I must again pay tribute here to the leadership of our president, Uzodinma, GCFR. His courage and clarity have carried this party and this country through many transitions. Long before he became the president, his ideas and his persistence shaped the progressive family. Many of the reforms we now take for granted had their roots in his insistence that Nigeria would do things differently. Let me paraphrase from my book on the role of our visionary president, Uzodinma, the role he played in the formation of the APC as the arrowhead in 2013. The milestone of God under his watch because he is used to scoring first. It was he that worked relentlessly to bring together minds in 2013 to found the All Progressive Congress. It was this coalition of what looked like a cacophony of strange bedfellows that this legendary political leader and patron of high repute, as well as knit together to form a formidable family of common political ideas that removed the incumbent government in 2015. This happened because in the 2 years between its founding and its first electoral trial, the APC had come together to present a clean break from a system that had grown arrogant, a system that became complacent and insulated from the realities of Nigeria. So to a very large extent, the unprecedented electoral triumph of APC in 2015 was largely due to the political dexterity and flexibility of our own Asawaju-Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Who by the special grace of God became president of Nigeria in 2023. The same of the same. The same of his predecessor in office, the late President Muhammad Buhari, who carried the baton at a different stage of this journey. He left a mark, contributed to the building of a party and a government that Nigerians could believe in. I'm grateful today to the national chairman of our great party, Professor Netel Iwada, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the President of the Senate, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, members of Progressive Governance Forum, for the encouragement, the energy that kept our party going. What stands out is not only what we promised, but how we consistently have worked together to deliver on those promises. More importantly, I hope this book reminds us that APC is not just a party to win elections. APC is built on values, equity, inclusion, service, and discipline. These values must always shape how we govern. Of course, no governing party is without its critics. Reforms are very hard, sometimes or most times very painful, sometimes also misunderstood. They are very, very necessary, globally speaking. And it is the only path to long-term prosperity. The truth is, some interests who benefited from the old order, the broken systems, are bound to resist change. The Nigerians, as always, are seen through the white noise. They cannot see the new roads, they can see the new bridges, they can see the new rails, the stabilizing economy, the growing opportunities. Is it not wonder that for the first 6 months, the exchange rate has been stable? That is why I consider this book timely as a record of the past, as well as a rallying point. To that end, I will ensure that copies are distributed to all APC structures, from the national level, to the world level, or to the polling unit, because our members should be able to give their chest and say these are the achievements of APC in Nigeria. We will also work to digitize the book, making it available to every Nigerian. This is my humble contribution to deepening our party's internal education and public accountability. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, our book reviewer has already done justice to the book. But allow me as the author to briefly tease each chapter, just enough to whet your appetite to be able to go into the full text of the book. In chapter 1 of the book, the chapter takes us back long before APC came to power, to the traditions of progressive politics in our country. It traces the ideas of social justice, equity, and people-centered governance that ran through earlier movements and parties. That is matters because it explains why Nigerians welcome APC. In this next chapter, it explains the meaning of progressivism, what progressive governance means, and how it is applied to our society. It is not an important slogan, but a philosophy that speaks to our Nigerian realities of community, solidarity, inclusion, and service. The chapter makes the case that our version of progressive governance is practical, is not an abstract. It showcases how progressive governance has shaped our policies and distinguished our approach as policies of inclusion. The APC manifesto and its core policies, every party must be judged by what it promises and what it pursues. This chapter lays out the manifesto of APC and how it took Nigerians to 2015. And that mandate given to APC in 2015 was put to test again in 2019. Nigerians gave us the mandate. In 2023, the mandate was again renewed. So Nigerians are committed to the change APC brought. So I'm not in doubt whether APC has performed or not, but our inability to document our performance has always been the issue. The next chapter reflects on how these commitments gave direction to government action. It highlights the consistency of our message, which is to build a country where prosperity is broad-based and where the institutions are strong. I dragged it up to chapter 4, saying the sectoral achievement. When you go to that chapter, the focus shifts from promises to delivery. The chapter surveys achievements sector by sector. It is a wide lens on how the APC decade touched daily life. The point here is not to claim perfection, but to present evidence that steady progress was made even in difficult times. So the progressive policies that were in action, policies mean little until they are felt in people's life. This chapter brings the policies down to earth. If you recall the Anti-Borrowers program that empowered farmers, National Social Investment Program that supported the poor, school feeding for people, and interventions in housing and jobs of late students' loan. Would be told again of the World Development Program that will put minimum of 1,000 active businesses in each world. The next chapter, which is a comparative analysis of pre-APC and then the APC era from 2005 to 2015 and 2015 to 2025. This chapter provides contrast. It looks back at the decade before APC came to power and sets this against the decade of APC governance. The comparison here is not to tread blame, but to understand the differences and then allow the public to judge. In chapter 7 of the book, which recognizes APC's approach to inclusive governance, progressive politics must embrace inclusion. This chapter highlights how the APC advances women participation in politics, gave the youth more voice, and carrying the minorities, and the only political party that provided opportunity and offices for special citizens. It also recognizes the importance of recognizing diversity as a strength, not weakness. Look at our international image. During this decade, we have witnessed Nigeria asserting itself more confidently abroad. The chapter reviews foreign policy engagements, peacekeeping contributions, trade, partnerships, and regional leadership. I am proud to see my president in faraway Paris discussing one-on-one with the president of France, discussing one-on-one with the president of Brazil, discussing one-on-one with the president of Japan. Our image on the global stage has incrementally strengthened. Also, APC government. Now, within these 10 years, we brought chapter 9 to identify the lessons we learned. Every journey in life has obstacles, and APC decade is no exception. This chapter reflects on insecurity in Nigeria and in the world. One of the global economic shocks, the global crisis like COVID-19 pandemic, the internal party tension, how we were able to resolve it. It admits also where mistakes were made. It also identifies what was lacked and how best to correct and move forward. The closing chapter of the book, which is chapter 10, gathers the lessons of these 10 years, and at the end of the day, raise the big question, what next? It outlines priorities, sustaining reforms, deepening inclusiveness, diversifying the economy, and strengthening our democracy. This final chapter invites every Nigerian to see themselves as part of the journey to a stronger future. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, before I close, a word on timing. This book was finalized and published in May 2025. Naturally, it carries a cut-off point. History does not wait for anyone, and events have already moved forward since the last chapter of this book. We must congratulate the from both sides of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that has started building results. This is the first time in the history of Nigeria that our government is being run based only on non-oil revenue. It has never happened. Everything has been oil revenue, oil revenue. And today, the fact committee has been dealing with non-oil revenue. And today I'm happy to announce that the process commissioned today by the President in Imo State were all made possible because of the increased revenue we are receiving from the federal. So what has happened since then only strengthens the spirit of this group. At the time I was writing, the signs of recovery were very visible. Today, those signs have matured into tangible progress. Inflation has dropped to levels not seen in years. The prices of food staples, which was flying defensively, are coming down. The naira, which has been under pressure, has regained stability. State governments now have access to stronger revenue, giving us the resources to invest in our people with greater confidence. Equally important is Nigeria's trade performance. For 6 consecutive quarters, that is about 1.5 years since the middle of 2023, our country has recorded a trade surplus. In simple ways, we are selling more than the world. We are selling more to the world than we are buying. In the first quarter of this year, the surplus stood at over 5 trillion naira. By the second quarter, we have done by more than 40% to over 7 trillion naira. Our exports rose, imports did. And for the first time in a long time, non-oil exports, like manufactured goods and solid minerals, they are part of the driving force. This is what a healthier economy looks like. An economy that earns more than it spends, that creates jobs at home and strengthens our currency abroad. For us in Imo State, these improvements are the fuel behind an infrastructure renaissance that touches every local government. Roads, bridges, urban renewal projects are moving at a speed that was once impossible. Beyond infrastructure, a new fiscal space has allowed us to invest in people, in education, in health, in welfare, in agriculture, and food security. One area that gives me special pride is how we have treated workers and pensioners in our state. For years, Imo workers cried out for wages that reflect their effort, and the realities of daily life. I dare say, without any fear of contradiction, that Imo workers are today happier than they were years back. Our senior citizens, who once endured neglect, now receive their dues promptly and respectfully. The truth is that the progressive ideas of our great party are steadily transforming this Imo State Economic Council. A new Imo is on the rise. The news is, none of this happened in a vacuum. It is the outcome of the visionary and determined leadership at the center, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that has led this country with clarity, taking brave decisions that others might have avoided, and giving the state the room to flourish. The reforms he has championed are not easy. They are already yielding results that Nigerians can see. For this, Mr. President, I express my deepest gratitude, not only on my behalf, but on behalf of millions who now see hope where once they saw only destiny. Considering the transformative impact of the President's government on the lives of Imo people, and knowing that his visionary policies have rekindled in us the hope of a better future, we in Imo State, we have resolved to stand firmly behind Mr. President for the second time. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, if I finish this my speech, time will be crying. I want to crave the rejoicings of all of us gathered to agree that the point has been made, and to God be the glory. Thank you.